hello, and hello. Yes, you are here at the Visibility Corner with Barbara J. Beckley. Every time I have the pleasure and the honor of not only coming to, I call it the stage, the virtual stage, but also bringing bringing people, and I want to say it, bringing people with the heat, bringing people with the power, bringing people with understanding, with the expertise that they have to this particular show, and making sure that anybody that's watching right now, gets those golden nuggets, gets those tips, and you get to understand the individual that I bring on the show. Now, this particular show is regarding, as you can see, Visibility Corner. I want to make sure, because this is something that I do in my life, is I am a purpose, visibility, and social media strategist. And the biggest thing, the mission that I have, is to make sure that individuals, first of all, know that they have a voice and they understand they have a powerful voice. And that at that time, whatever you do in your business and your personal life, that you become visible not only to yourself, because you got to make sure you do yourself first, but also to others. So they know who you are, they know what you bring, they know the genius and the uniqueness that you have within you that you bring to the stage of life, and that you be that, what I always say, the lighthouse to the world. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm bringing tips and strategies about visibility. I'm also going to be bringing on wonderful guests to talk up, to hone in what they do. So take what they do and then put it to the visibility aspect of it, put it together so you understand the strategies and tips that they do, and what kind of things that they have to deal with within their clients, and who they talk to and what they teach on. That visibility is the key, one of the key things to be successful. Okay. So with that said, I have a wonderful, amazing guest today. This is a wonderful lady, and I call the ladies, I want to get everybody already honed in. I call them queens. I call lady queens. This particular queen, Erika Nicole. I'm telling you, this lady I just met a little while ago. I'm just gonna, I'm vulnerable. I'm open to everything. People know me, but I feel like I've been knowing her for a lifetime. She has this presence that I love. It's powerful and it's loving at the same time. And she commands, but it commands to make sure that you stand up in yourself. And she shows that through her leadership, and I can see that. So this lady, she helps women. See, me and her already vibing already. Push past their fears of being vulnerable and visible. Mhm. That she hopes that she gets started and helps them, excuse me, to get started on social media, podcasting, speaking, and probably for anything else, to make sure that they understand and stand up in their lives and what they're doing, because they're important. Like I said, everybody has that special uniqueness in them. So I love what she said. One of the things that she said, because she's a podcaster, she's a speaker, she's an author, she's triple threat, if you want to call it that. But she is amazing in life. She is lighthouse to the world. And she said, she goes by the three C's: coach, counselor, and the cross. And I was like, wow. Yeah, I said, I need to have her on my show. And the one thing that she has is a wonderful quote that I like too. Like I said, we're in sync here. Is by Madam C.J. Walker. And it says, now that I finally learned to tell my story, I can't be silent anymore. Just pause on that. Now that you learn your story, to tell your story, don't be silent anymore, because you don't know who that's going to reach. And you're going to hear some things from this queen, when we have our conversation today with her, of why she shouldn't be silent no more, and she's not silent anymore. And you shouldn't be silent either. So before we bring on this wonderful queen, I always got to put people on the right way. I just can't just throw them on the screen. I want to make sure that they get the love and they get the respect that I see in them. So with that said, give us 1 minute, and we'll be right back with Mrs. Nicole. Excuse me,
Hello, girl. You got me all excited. I'm like, who is she introing? Woo!
You.
Yes, love it. I'm loving it. Good morning. Great morning. How are you, beautiful?
I am so wonderful, Queen. And the biggest thing is you giving me a present and you're on my show and you're the first. The first. So yes, I had to bring the best. I had to bring the
Somebody's got to be the first, but I feel like you're giving me a present. I feel
best.
like you're giving me a gift. You're giving me the honor of being here. So,
See, and that's what I'm saying about, and I'm going to put a little plug out here for everybody. When you come together as a community, you come together as, more than just yourself, you can make some powerful changes in life. And this queen right here coming together and bringing her on this stage and showing what she does is important. And I'm glad that we met. I'm glad that you are a force to be reckoned with. I was just thinking about you. We were talking earlier, and I said, wow, I just feel it's like when you speak, it's like you just, you have that and it's not, how some people come in the room and be like, they have that, they be like, it's like, oh. And it's not it's not a fearful thing. It's more so like standing up in you in the presence and making sure that you're telling everybody else too, not even speaking yet, to stand up too. Because
absolutely.
you're important. You're important. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Because that's the three C's, right? I told you about the three C's. You got to have the counseling, the coach, and the couch. And the cross, because before those three C's came together in my life, I didn't have that. I
Mm.
did not have that. I did not understand this little light of mine. I'm going to let it shine. So now I get it. Like we are to shine our light before men so they'll see our goodness and give glory to God. And when I shine my light and you shine your light, then it's just a brighter occasion. My
Yeah.
light doesn't knock your light off and vice versa. And
Mhm.
once we get that and we come together and collaborate and share space with one another, oh man, now we're doing something.
Woo! Yes, yes, lady. And that's what I like how you said when we to come together. Because I always tell people one of the things I always say, Queen, is that we are could be well first I said we could be because some people go to negative with it. But I always tell people we should be the lighthouse to the world.
We
Your
should be.
stories, what you have in you that shines out could help people out there that are lost, to help people out there that don't feel like they have a connection, to help people out there that are hurting and stuff. We need to shine that light on them so they can come back. Come back. And you are one of those lighthouse. You are
And
one.
the thing is, I think we are, whether we want to or not,
I,
because a true light cannot be hidden, right? Your true destiny, your true purpose, it's there, it's bubbling up. You can try to hide it all you want, but truly, it's something you've done your whole life. I remember when I was dark and when I was depressed and I was boggled down with all of this stuff. I was shining a light, it just wasn't a bright light. It was dim and it was dark and it was dusty. And when I walked in the room, people knew I was in the room, but it wasn't a good thing, right? It wasn't a good thing. People were like, oh, here's your gum. That's not what I wanted to leave people with. And I made a decision to change. I made the decision. I made the choice to change. And I'm like, God, we sing it, those of us that go to church. If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me. Well, you're saying it, but you're not showing it. And him using us is him using our story, him using our nail holes in our hands, him using our fall downs and our gets up, he using our failures. Because everything is a lesson and a blessing, one way or another.
unless I got okay, let me get my pad of paper out of my pen because you're gonna be start dropping these gold nuggets, and I need to make sure I catch it. Unless it's a blessing. Woo, okay, lady. Let me, because I get it. I'm like a kid in candy when I get people on my show that's just giving us so much information. But first, before we even start, because one of the things, like I said earlier, is you have what you do, what you say you do, either in your business, if you're a coach like you do, a life coach, or if you're author like you do, like you're a speaker like you do. So everything you do, you're in a nutshell. But from that point, taking that and gelling it with getting the visibility, understanding that you have to, somewhere down the line that visibility has to come so people know who you are. So
Mhm.
before we get into some lessons in that, I know you have a lot of good tips when you're talking about, especially dealing with women and their past fears and being vulnerable. I mean, I when I heard that, I said, yes, she is speaking my language here because I deal with the same when it comes to that, and didn't because I realized it because I was one of them women. Because usually I always tell
Absolutely.
people you usually the client, but you're maybe a two or three steps ahead of your client, and because you
Mhm.
were that client, you were there before, so you understand what you had to deal with and go through, and then you tell yourself, you know what? I don't want anybody else dealing with what I did, so I want to help them out. I want to help them, right? You want to
That's
reach back
it.
and help.
Absolutely. That is it. When God called me, I would never forget having this back and forth with God about my life. And first, the whole speaking thing, I threw a whole fit. I wanted to be a prayer warrior, which I am. I get down through there with prayer. But we were at church and people were slaying each other in the spirit. And I was like, God, I want to do that. And he's like, that's not what I called you to do. I called you to speak life. I'll put a word in you and you are to deliver the word. If you open your mouth, I will give you the words to say. And I'm like, oh, well, I've been talking my whole life, so that'll work. I've been talking and encouraging my whole life, giving my opinion, giving advice. I've been doing that. So that was easy. But when he asked me to use my own life and then he asked me to go help women, I remember saying, God, I don't do women. Women don't do me. We don't, it's catty, it's difficult, it's right. You go through all of this. And he was like, mm-mm, not no more. It's
Mm.
over. And so the journey began, and here we are.
See, I love how you said that, Queen, because you think you're going to be going another direction because you're good in it. You see it, you be like, oh, just like you said about the prayer roar and everything, and then God just takes and says, uh-uh, I got a different path for you. And you be like, but Lord, just like you said about the women, I'm not really, into like, working with them. No, I need you to go that direction because he knows what you have in you is needed for them women. And same with me, because I like you said earlier, you worked in corporate, a male dominant, area.
Mhm.
Same with me. I work in the insurance industry. And if you're talking about male dominance, that's just like, because you
Yeah,
have to step up. It's like, even if you don't feel like stepping up, you better step up, else they're going to step down on you. And
exactly. Either you step up or they step on you.
yeah, it's either way. It's not no middle ground. It's like either this or that. So either you're going to come up or you're going to be like, okay. So I know that that's something that he see that God said, okay, wait a minute. We're going to use this in a way where we're going to help other women. You're going to help other women get to that point. So you never know. You never know. And I always had this big smile on my face because at the back of my mind, I'm like, but Lord, I kind of wanted to. I thought I was going to be doing over here. He's like, no, no, I need you over here.
I mean, I said I'm a 24-year nurse. My goal was nursing, corporate America, moving up the corporate ladder, doing this, doing that, being a boss. That was my goal. And God was like, mm-mm, no. We got other plans. I need you to go do this, this, and this. We gonna call it business street. I stole that word from somebody, but I love it because it's a blend between business and ministry. You gonna use your story. You gonna use my. This is what we gonna do. And then on the side of that, you get to be a part of the sandwich generation and be your mama's caregiver. And I'm like, oh, okay, God.
Queen. The more and more I talk to you, I'm like, you just more stuff that did the royalty, and you're just like bursting out. Boy, everything that she's a nurse. I didn't even know. I didn't even realize that she was a nurse. 24 years.
24 years last month. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, wow, wow. And then having your own business and helping these women and getting them stronger in their lives. That's amazing, amazing. So, Queen, I want to just ask before we get into, like I said, some of the tips and stuff that you can give us when it comes to visibility and helping in your wheelhouse. What is just real quickly something that changed you to get to where you're at right now?
God. So in 2015, I can't say I was going through a very dark time in my marriage. And I remember I was just getting out and connecting and getting on social media, hanging out. And I always knew I had a unique story. I always knew I was a unique being, right? I just knew that I used to call myself a misfit. I always knew I was different. Like I always understood that and I never fit in my entire life. So none of that was surprising to me. And one day I was doing my devotional. I was reading Jesus Calling. I'm just hanging out with God and I just so happened to be sitting in front of my computer and God said go live. I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "Go live." And so me being the nut that I am, anything God tell me, I'd be like, "Okay, here we go." And I did. And I did it inside of a Facebook group, kind of private, because I was so worried about people that knew me previously judging me. I was ashamed of my past. I was ashamed of who Erica was back then. So I went in a cocooned area, very safe area. And a young lady by the name of Tara Venice, I love her dearly, she saw me and she said, "That is not what God told you to do." And so then I started going live on Facebook on my personal timeline in front of my classmates, my family, ordained ministry. I was not ordained and I'm not a Bible thumper. So I don't know the word like most people know the word. I wasn't raised in the church. I was a CME. We went to church on Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter. So I don't know the word. So what I was doing was very raw and very real. I was reading my devotional. You were getting me in the moment. And I did that for probably 2 or 3 years, one devotional after another. And that's how God put me out there. And people started saying, "You need to have a podcast. You need to do this. You need to do that." I don't know anything about that. I didn't know I could start a podcast. I didn't know I could be a speaker. I had no idea. So while I'm doing these lives, I'm going through my daughter attempted suicide. I'm going through my 16-year-old daughter becoming pregnant, right? And we got to get her through that. I'm going through the demise of my marriage. I'm going through all of this while still serving in this capacity, doing what God called me to do. And I just kept moving forward, right? So launching the YouTube channel, going over on Instagram, TikTok, wherever God told me to go. And even with the podcast, I didn't want to do the podcast. I thought, oh, it got to be edited, it got to be pretty, it got to be this, it got to be that. And I was at Pen to Profit, which is a writers conference that Tamara Mitchell Davis puts on, and I was her virtual host during COVID. And she had Lucinda Cross there, and Lucinda said, "Quit trying to make it perfect, get it done. Get it done. You got a message, you got a story. You're supposed to be the light in your words, right? Get it done." And so in 2020, launched the podcast. December 2020, I just stepped out on faith with my iPhone and my original iPhone headphones, and it's still there. And I still don't do a whole bunch of editing because I don't know how to edit and I don't want to be stressed out. And I just put it out there and I pray every day that it touches one person. That's all I've ever asked God. If my story, if me showing the nail holes in my hand
Mm.
can change one person's life, then it wasn't in vain.
Ooh, wow. See, sometimes I tell people just sometimes you just need to sit in it when a person is giving you giving further their life, just saying what you went through and what you dealt with and how you got to the stage that you are now. And just honoring that. Because, like you said, a lot of people, a lot of ladies, and we're going to go into that just a little bit, of their fear, just like how you were. You were like, I don't know, I don't know if I should do this. But every step that you took, going into that Facebook group, making sure to say, you know what, I'm just going to put it out there and see what happens. And then on that point, after doing it for a while, say, you know what, I got this. I don't have to be perfect. And then reaching out, like you said, I always say the same thing, Queen. If I can just touch one person,
That's it.
one person, that to me, that fills my heart and my soul right there. Because something that I said triggers something in somebody else to move forth in their life. And that's what you're doing for people, Coach. That's what you're doing, Queen.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, at the end of the day, it is using your gifts, talents, and ability all to the glory of God. And when I get to those pearly gates, I want him to be like, girl, you used your mouth to win souls. Because I don't want people to think you got to be perfect. I don't want people to think you got to look a certain way. That is not biblical. That is not in his word. But you can be saved, you can be whole, you can be healed, and you can go out and do the things that you have to do. And that's just
And
where I'm at.
and sometimes, that perfection gets in the way, like you said. And I
Mm,
know for myself, I was like that too, because I want everything to be right, and put the screen right and make sure this is okay. And I was okay. I'm doing that for a year, 2 years. I'm like, okay, Barbara, how much years you gonna let this pass to just be so right? And people are waiting. People are waiting for the gift that God gave
mm.
you to get to them, but you so busy talking about I got to make sure all that is. See, that's another excuse in my, it came to
It
an excuse
is.
to
Yep.
me, not to move forward in what we try to do. So I'm glad that you just said, nope, I'm getting through them barriers. No, this is going to be imperfection, whatever. I'm getting out there. And you see what you're doing now with the ladies. You see what you're doing now with the ladies.
Oh, thank you. I
Yeah.
felt that when you said that because I feel like somebody's life is on the line when we don't.
Bingo. Bingo.
Somebody's life is on the line when we don't. Whether it's you or I encouraging someone to get out and tell their story and their story save someone's life, or whether it's our personal story save someone's life. If me telling my story of going through the divorce, having to rebrand myself, which I did, having to rediscover myself, which I'm doing, helps another woman say, I can do this. I
Mm,
can get up. I can stand in my truth. I can figure this out. Then it's worth it.
yes, it is. Ooh, you hit it right there. Yes. So lady, I want to go back to the visibility part of it, because like I said, I know you deal with women that struggle, or that has, certain things that's kind of might be holding them back a little bit. And we talked a lot about how you came to be from this point to this point in your life, and now you're helping other women. And I wanted to ask you, the question that I have, and this is what I have to deal with too with my clients, is, in your opinion, what are some key strategies that that you as a life coach, me especially, really towards women and dealing with what their needs are, use to build a strong personal brand and stand out from the marketplace of what you do? Because I know there's a lot of other coaches, a lot of life coaches, people doing the same thing you and I are doing. But how do you take what the visibility that you need and stand out from that?
I think the main thing for me, with me or even with my clients, it's the same. I have an outline, but I don't have a blueprint because everything I do through God. So it's prophetic. It's a lot of fasting, it's a lot of praying, and it's a lot of listening because women will tell you what the struggle is. They will tell you. So one of the first things I do with every one of my clients is I go live with them. I
Mm,
hold their hand through the process and I don't give them much time, right, to figure it out. I tell them, like, I schedule a meeting and I tell them, come ready, come dress, have your makeup on, come camera ready, is what I tell them. And while we in that session, I say, okay, we getting ready to go live. Because the biggest thing is just to do it. And I help them work through that. So after they've experienced that, now we got something to work from. So now I ask them, how do you feel?
mm,
How do you feel about that? Right? It's like your first kiss. How did you feel after that first kiss? It's the same thing. How do you feel? Because it's never what you think it's going to be. It's never what you have told yourself in your head. Never. You don't sound as bad as you thought. You don't look as bad as you thought. Like, it's never. And whatever is bad can be changed. It's called corrections and adjustments. So I
mm.
think that's one thing that makes me unique. Now, to put my secret out there is I literally schedule an appointment with them. I schedule a virtual meeting and it's called Camera Ready. So
Mm.
I tell them, show up to the studio. Let me see how you're going to show up and represent your brand in the studio. And from that, we go live.
I love that, Queen. I love how you're basically saying, you know what? I'm not going to leave you alone your first time getting out there. I'm going to be right there with you. In fact, we're going to set a date. We're not going to make it too long. We're going to just say, get ready, get out there, and I'm going to go in the pool with you.
Mhm.
You jump, I jump. We both jump together, and we're going to do this thing together. And that's what I'm talking about is That's the uniqueness of you, of what you do with your clients, because they need that. I feel they every step of the way. Sometimes people be like, "Okay, Barbara," because I have my coaches in my life too. Some are good, some weren't too good, and they would be like, "There you go," and then they would like, "Whoop," and I was like, "Well, wait, what, wait." I was like, "Wait, you leaving me? What? And then I'm sitting there struggling. But with you, you said, you know what? I want to go through the struggle with you. We're going to do this together. And because you understand. So you understand. You understand.
It's a sisterhood for me,
It's a
right?
sister.
It's a sisterhood for me. And I am your covenant partner in this journey. We are partners. You tell me what you want to do. I'm going to partner with you. Woo, thank you, Holy Spirit. And we're going to make it happen. And if to me, this is just my opinion. If somebody wanted to do it alone, they would have purchased a DIY package.
Come
They
on.
would have purchased your DIY package. That if they wanted a little bit of help, they would have gotten a group coaching. But
Mm.
if somebody is paying the money to do one-on-one coaching with you, they need this.
Mm.
They need this. And how dare you not give them that?
Ooh, that was powerful, Queen. I love that how you did that. Hey, if they wanted to what? Ooh, I like that. Yes, yes, you have to understand the needs of your client. And if they're paying you that money out and wanting that time with you, yes, you have to be accountable to them.
Mhm.
Just like they're trying to be accountable for themselves to get to where they want to go, and they're reaching out. Like when someone's reaching out, what do you don't sit there and hold back. You reach out, you
Absolutely.
pull. You say, "Okay, I'm here for you." Right?
Yeah. And as a
Mm.
coach, you and I both know one-on-one is a high ticket. One-on-one is where you spending your money. So if somebody has got that much faith in you that they're putting that money right invested in you, we owe it to them. But I think it's a lot of times too that everybody wants to coach from a handbook. It's
Mm.
boom, 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 boom. Well, coaching is not making a pound cake. There's not a recipe for it. There is a blueprint, there is an outline. We know what the outcome should be, but every person is different. And so when somebody is one on one coaching with me, I'm recognizing their difference and I'm giving them what they need to get across the finish line.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Lady, I could talk to you like all the time. We got to do some. I got to do some special other programs with you because this is amazing. I want to leave the audience with you by giving, if you can give the audience like just one tip for the viewers to increase their visibility in their business. I'm going to take myself down because I really want you to talk to the viewers, and I'll be right back.
Well, wow. No one's ever gave me their platform like this. My biggest thing would be to get it and do it. Decide what you want to do, and then step out there, step out of the boat, step out of your own way of success. Partner with somebody, right? She said my three C's. I'm very avid when it comes to a coach. You can get a lot free, but sometimes free is not good enough. You can start free, right? You can start free. It doesn't take all the bells and whistles. It doesn't take the most expensive equipment. It doesn't take your face being beat to the gods. You can start for free. If it's makeup, learn how to do your own makeup. If it's a background, you didn't see this, but I was moving my computer around, getting the best picture. This is actually my apartment. Some people use a green screen, but figure out what you need to do, but don't stay in figuring out mode forever. See, a lot of people say you got to stay ready to get ready. It's just go time. Go and then make the corrections and adjustments later. But you have something that someone needs. And if you never step out there, they'll never get what they need from you. And their lives are in your hand. So it's very important that you do it because we're waiting on you. I may need what you have. I'm waiting on you to show up. So it's very important that you just do it.
Ooh. Well, I know you showed up and showed out and everything else today. So you don't even have to say anything. Thank you, Queen, so much for coming on the Visibility Corner with me. You have been amazing. I want you back. We're going to talk. Believe me, I already have it in my head. You
Absolutely.
you my sisterhood here, and I love it. So, Coach, let them know how they can contact you because I want to make sure they can reach out to you.
Well, I'm easy. I do what all coaches tell you to do. Everything is the same on all platforms. So I'm Erika Speaks Life, Erika with the K, no C on every platform: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. My podcast is Speak Life with Erica Nicole. I'm on all the podcast platforms as well as my YouTube channel is the same name. My website, the same, www.ericaspeakslife.com.
So there's no excuse. And if you don't remember all that, reach out to Barbara J. Beckley and I'll make sure you get to Erica Nicole. Because this is what we do. We make sure that we can get in contact with each other. We don't have no excuses why you can't reach a person, especially when you're working on you and you need that particular coach. And you see how Erica is. She doesn't play. She wants to make sure she's with you all the step of the way. So please reach out to her if you need her. And if you say to yourself, well, maybe I really don't need her, you know somebody that does, okay? So reach out to them so they can reach out to her. So, Coach Erica, thank you. It's been a pleasure so much for you to be on the show, giving the tips, giving your story, understanding that your main thing that you have inside of you, you need to let it shine. Like I always say, the lighthouse. You're making it shine in the life. You are being a world changer. And basically, I humble myself because I honor you because God has put in you so much to help those women out there to get out of their thing, to get out of their, whatever. Just move it out the way so you can do what you have to do to help the world.
Yeah, absolutely. It's shine time. You got to shine your light. So it is shine time. And that's what I leave with everybody. Like, it's time. This is your time. This is your turn. This is your season. There's no need to wait. So it's been a pleasure, Barbara. I feel like I've known you for a lifetime. So I cannot wait to do more with you in the future. I already know I need to have you over on Speak Like with Erica Nicole as well. So this has been more than a blessing for me.
Thank you, thank you. So remember, everybody, this show, Visibility Corner with Barbara J. Beckley, as I say, we maximize your reach and impact with experts, visibility strategies, so you can understand how you should be that light and the shine for others in the world. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time on Visibility Corner.